Hello, I'm coming on to do a reading for the collective. It is just going to be a general energy check-in, so it may or may not resonate with you. Okay, so we have shameful, compassionate, and worn out. Let's see. Worn out, compassionate, shameful. So two of these are intuitive emotions, and one is physical. You could have been feeding into something where you were trying to give a lot of compassion, or maybe you were nurturing something and you may be worn out on trying to feed into a situation where you could feel like it may just have made you feel not great to do this, or you're at a point where you've been feeding into a situation and it's like whatever you're doing to nurture this situation, it's just making you feel less compassion, because it may just be you're nurturing something and it's like making you feel shame, or what you're getting back is like aggression, or it may not be aggression, but it may be like there could be like spite. Let's see what shameful says. It says, shame is a deflating emotion that exposes a failure to meet up to someone's standards set in society, and is fueled by feelings of unworthiness or never being good enough. To self-blame of shame is taxing on the spirit and can leave us vulnerable to a feeling of wanting to shrink away or disappear entirely. So yeah, this is like saying like you could be really compassionate, or you could be feeding into something, and it's like it's like maybe something that you're feeding into says you don't live up to society's standards, or you don't meet the standards of what society is expecting you to be or look like, but you meet your own standards. You feel good enough to be you, or you feel good enough in your own skin. So there could be shame, or people are trying to shame you for being yourself, but you feel confident in yourself. You've maybe walked a long path, or you've been through a lot to know how to feel great being who you are. And it may be like people that validate themselves off of society, which is not generally a way to value yourself, because it's not typically like the way it's an ego-driven value. Because it's not authentic to your real core value. It's authentic to the 3D materialistic point of view, which is all ego. So it's like driving this perspective that you should be shamed because you don't fit into the 3D ego-driven world, but you are maybe more centered in like a place of feeling great within yourself because you've connected with like a deeper, more nurturing side of yourself that you feel is really compassionate and loving, and you know who you are, and you are strong within yourself, and you maybe really like have a strong voice, and you could be unbreakable or unshakable in a way, but you could just be worn out on being compassionate towards people that are trying to push this shame onto you. Like you need to fit into like this ego-driven mania of like what the world sees as correct, but you may not see that as correct. You may see it as disturbing or disgusting. So you could be somebody that's on the outside and looking in like this is idiotic, but you may not say that because you may not feel great about shaming other people. But it could be a perspective, like intuitively you know that what's happening does not meet your values or your core beliefs. So you're being compassionate about the situation, but you just could be worn out on trying to be empathetic towards people that have a misunderstanding on the true value of compassion and empathy when it comes to self-worth and self-love. Okay, so we're going to pull some cards. So yeah, I feel like things are going in your favor as far as taking a step back from situations where people could be really aggressive towards your like compassion or understanding of yourself, or the value or worth you hold in yourself. You could be working right now on a large platform, or you could be working with like larger creators, or people that are larger creators could be watching you. They could be really inspired by your drive, or by your energy, or by something that you bring forward. They could find it like entertaining. There could be people that like you don't even know that are inspired by like a light, or your voice, not like the sound, but like your voice as in what you say as your truth. They could be inspired by maybe you're outspoken, or maybe you don't have a filter. Maybe you have the stability to be able to say what you want and know that you're going to be okay because of the perspectives that you've gone through and the things that you've walked through in your life. You're happy, you know that you are able to do what you want, and people can't affect you because of the things you say or the things you do. You're always going to have the stability beneath you. You could even work in a situation where you have a firm foundation that provides stability, as far as like if people were to come at you aggressively, you have a team that backs you up that would actually they wouldn't be able to affect you. That is one reason why I feel like people are trying to hold you back. There is somebody I feel like that is really trying hard to there could be somebody that is really trying hard to cause conflict around some sort of truth. They may be like somebody that is really driven in like an ego driven, like this could be somebody that really does believe that society's perspective of like 3D materialism is the way that people should be seen. Like they could believe that's like that's the soul and that's the truth. However, that's driven by like that is the devil. That is the truth of like that's what the devil represents. So they could be in like a lower vibration. They could be like when you're all wrapped up in your looks and what you have and needing like the fashion like the high brand materialistic things. I'm not saying like to want that on some level is not a bad thing, but when that's what's consuming you, when that is what is the makeup of you, when that is what you're driven by, that's tied into like the devil, which the devil's not even bad, but when people start representing that energy, that's when it becomes negative because you're in a toxic state then. And so this could be somebody that's in that energy and they're in a conflict because you may not be in that energy. You could be outside of that as being really nurturing and you could be really loving and caring. You could also be somebody that may like you could have like just get up and put your hair up and like wash your face and like throw on some clothes that you may not like put a lot of effort into trying to fine tune a look. You may just be effortlessly kind of doing your thing and putting more work into your soul purpose and your passions. And this could make some people really upset, but it's because you're not very tied to the idea that the body is going to take you beyond anything but this physical realm and not needing to like connect to impressing anybody. If you're somebody that's connected to independence, you may like do something where you may connect to like trying harder if you go in for work or something, but it's like having the freedom to just be yourself is really upsetting to some people because being yourself may mean just having a really laid back appearance, not needing to put on makeup every day, not needing to dress a certain way every day because you may be really tuned into like your spirits and source and the soul and knowing what it needs and how to incorporate that into a level of like nirvana or a state of being content and knowing that doing that is part of maintaining like a harmonized state with the body, mind, and soul when you're in any sort of practice. Okay, so this could be another reason why people feel this need to like bring this conflict and shame towards you or offer it to you and think that it's clarity or truth. But it's just going to hold them back because their perspective is it's something they're trying to work on. It's something they're trying to do. A lot of people know the truth, and a lot of people know that they're just bringing conflict forward. I feel like you know that, and so it's not like holding you back because in the end it just doesn't look, it just looks like conflict. Yeah, so I feel like whatever was going to hold you back is moving you, whatever was meant to hold you back is moving you into a calmer time. There was some sort of grief or stress that was meant to cause you to crumble in some way. However, if it did hold you back for a minute, I feel like you're moving into a place of peace because you're able to kind of lift a veil on a situation and see the clarity and truth around the conflict, which may have made you really happy around the perspective because you may have thought like some of these people were authentic or were actually a different way, but you may have gotten clarity on the perspective and are now very happy that you're able to move into a calmer time.